You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I am so excited to bring you this absolutely phenomenal treatment. So let's get into it. GlycoAla Unique Therapeutic Horizons. Little introduction to myself. If you don't know who I am, my name is Corinna and I am a facialist, an industry leader at KOL. I've been working in the industry almost 30 years. In 2027, it will be 30 years. Monica Tolan, the skin expert, it was founded in 1982 by my mum, Monica Tolan, a pioneer in professional skin health, a real trailblazer. And I do feel myself and Rona, my sister, who took over the business in 2011, are the same. We do look out for the next best thing, and GlycoAla is really, I think, the next great innovation to hit our industry. So we did continue her legacy, raising skin health standards across Ireland and beyond. We're proud to say we are the distributors for GlycoAla in the UK and Ireland. With almost 30 years experience, I've become known as a renowned skin problem solver, and particularly for inflammatory and challenging skin conditions. And any of you know, these are incredibly difficult and require certain skill set to treat without a prescription pad. Our clinic has been awarded Salon of the Year and Salon of Excellence for the UK and Ireland for 11 consecutive years before we withdrew ourselves from that. So an introduction to Glycoala Biomicroneedling. So I spent over a year researching and trialing many different spicule brands, and for many reasons, none of them felt complete really or really suited my business for many different reasons. However, one thing I will say is from the moment I start working with spicules, I knew this was going to be incredibly special. I knew they absolutely aligned with my ethos of skin health. I felt myself that they would change microneedling in the same way that shellac changed manicures. And I do feel that every day I get more and more excited about this particular treatment with the feedback I'm getting from my clients and my team as well. And now my stockists of GlycoAla reaching out to me with incredible transformative photos. So that changed when I was introduced to GlycoAla Bio through my work with Environ Skincare and Dr. Des Fernandez. The results were remarkable physical improvements, minimal downtime, and I now believe GlycoAla represents the future of skin regeneration. You know, I've never been one to jump on trends, etc. I've always taken a back seat, and I know how the skin works and I know what the skin likes, and I've tended to lean heavy on those modalities and stayed away from anything like any kind of buzzwords in the industry. And I've always known without a doubt that microneedling is the greatest skin treatment ever. And that's exactly what this treatment is. So GlycoAla, the first biomodulating gel combining spongeless spicules with 31 active ingredients. It targets aging, photo damage, acne-prone skin, congestion, and it's designed for all skin types and all areas of the body as well. It's not confined to the face area. And with GlycoAla, we have two products. We have the modulating gel, which is your spicules that you will use in clinic. And then we have the GlycoAla Revive, which is the complementary product that we use, open up and use in clinic with every client, and then we give that to them going home. And I think that is one of the unique selling points about this treatment for me, because I know the importance of that continuity of care beyond the treatment room, and that is really vital for really good results and skin health. You guys know it's not what happens in the 30 minutes or 60 minutes on the treatment couch. It's what the client does every day. It's those daily whispers to the skin. And that's exactly what the GlycoAla Revive gel is. With previous brands of spicules that I'd worked in, there was so many products, so many layers, and I am mindful that the skin can only do so much work in these confined few minutes. And it was a huge amount of product to load onto the skin at that time. Whereas with the GlycoAla system, we do apply the Revive at the end of treatment. You can consider it to be like a face mask if you wish, and we apply that at the end, but then the client gets to continue that momentum that evening, that for the rest of that afternoon, that evening, the next day, and then they continue to use this product underneath their skincare ongoing until it runs out. But of course, it is available to buy. This product retails in our clinics at €67.50. But each one of our clients is going to get this complimentary as part of their treatment going home. So it's a treatment in clinic, and then that treatment continues each time they apply their GlycoAla Revive. And we will, of course, go into what's in these products. So the vision is blending medical science with innovation to create the next generation of skin health. The science behind GlycoAla, developed with integrity and intention. And that is greatly stood out for me the first day I was introduced to GlycoAla, as opposed to other brands that I had worked with. Envisioned by Dr. George Porras, an MD, a cosmetic surgeon, consultant plastic surgeon from Cyprus, in collaboration with a team of leading biochemists. Designed to work with the skin and not against it. Unlike traditional microneedling that relies on injury, GlycoAla harnesses natural spun spicules, 11 synergistic actives. So the spicules are embalmed in these 11 synergistic actives, cellular level regeneration, and the result is truly transformative from the inside out, without inflammation, without trauma, and without damage. So global enterprise scientific leadership. Dr. George Porras, one of Cyprus' internationally recognised plastic surgeons with over 25 years of clinical research experience. He holds leadership roles as president of the Cosmetic Surgery Academy, treasurer of the Plastic Reconstructive and Aesthetic Surgery, member of ISAPS, actively involved in multiple international scientific societies, educated and trained at the world's leading medical centres from Switzerland, Japan, and Israel. Envision GlycoAla to unite science and simplicity. I love that, because so often in our industry, brands want to overcomplicate, mostly for financial reasons. And you're looking at all these products and you're like, are these really necessary? And I'm sure, like myself, you guys have started to say, even from a planet conscious perspective, are all of these necessary and all this packaging necessary? That was what I loved about GlycoAla. It's just two. Simplicity created non-invasive, clinically proven treatments that deliver visible rejuvenation and long-term skin health. Philosophy and methodology. GlycoAla guides the skin to repair and renew naturally. You can tell when you do this treatment and when you've had this treatment performed that it's working in synergy with your skin. Instead of forcing a reaction, it gently stimulates the skin's own communication pathways to activate collagen cell renewal and repair. Because every layer of the skin is connected. When one improves, they all benefit. The results, the skin that looks naturally healthy, radiant, and resilient. I just got a message off a client of mine who had this treatment done last Wednesday, so a week ago, and she said that she's looking in the mirror and her skin is absolutely glowing. So in my opinion, she's still in recovery, but her skin is so happy with the procedure she had done. It's working with her. And from the moment you have this done, your skin looks absolutely glorious. I described to, and you guys might appreciate this analogy for explaining to your own clients as well. I described the skin to be like an army. Its primary function is defense, much like an army. And there's many different soldiers in an army, and they all have different roles and different jobs. And it's exactly the same with the skin. There's many different cells, all doing different jobs. And really what makes an army strong and powerful and healthy is how well those soldiers communicate with each other and how well they do their job. And it's exactly the same with the skin. And that's what this treatment does. It encourages all the skin cells to go to where they're meant to go, do the job they're meant to do, and to communicate with the cells that they're meant to communicate with. It's a complete reset. I've had two clients recently in with me who haven't been in with me for various different reasons in about 12 months. One had bereavements and had a baby, both huge traumas on the skin. And you guys know this can massively accelerate aging of the skin. Another had poor health and had been on a lot of medication, and something else that massively accelerates aging of the skin. One treatment of GlycoAla, both of them commissioned to a course of 4, but one treatment completely reset their skin. I have their photographs from when they were in previously and brought their skin back to where it was meant to be, where it was before, when we'd previously met. GlycoAla Bio. So remember, there's two products. You've your GlycoAla Biomodulating Gel and your GlycoAla Revive Gel, which is the take-home product. So this is the professional product with the sponge spicules. Contains microscopic needle-like structures derived from freshwater sponges. I explain to my clients, you know, roses have thorns. Well, exactly the same. These are plants, these freshwater sponges, and they have spicules. When massaged into the skin, they create microscopic channels, allow deeper, faster ingredient delivery and skin absorption. Enables even absorption. Can I move this just slightly over just so I can see my text? Sorry, the half the screen is cut out. Now I can probably guess the words, but just I got to remove yeah. Oh God, Kira, it was really very simple. When massaged into the skin, they create microchannels that allow deeper, faster ingredient delivery and skin absorption by 1,000 times. Enables even absorption of actives for enhanced results. A non-invasive, non-thermal alternative to microneedling. No pigment risk or barrier damage. Stimulates natural collagen production without traditional needles. Activates the skin's regeneration process, improving tone, texture, and overall health. So again, a lot to unpack in this slide here. So faster ingredient delivery and skin absorption. We all know that one of the most difficult things for skin is absorption. That is one of the biggest obstacles we come up, and particularly when you're working with skin that is incredibly healthy. And I'm sure all of your clients' skin is incredibly healthy, as is my clients, because that is my focus is skin health. And a healthy skin going into Glycoala Bio will get the best outcome. So with that augmented health of the skin, it becomes limited absorption. So it's great that we have that amplified delivery of those vital nutrients for skin health. Non-invasive, non-thermal. And that's again really, really important, because Mother Nature always knew we were going to get cut. You know, she knew we were going to fall and cut ourselves, but we were never meant to get cooked. Cut, yes, cooked, no. So non-thermal massively eliminates the huge risk associated with many thermal energies for skin rejuvenation. Me personally, I would never allow heat or into my skin unless it was absolutely warranted, because my own skin type will be prone to pigmentation, and that heat creates that inflammatory response, and then you can get pigmentation as a result. So non-invasive, non-thermal alternative to microneedling. Obviously, I would imagine the non-thermal there is referencing RF microneedling, which we know has been in the news a lot lately because of the Food Drug Authority issuing the warning about it. Stimulates natural collagen production without traditional needles, activates the skin regeneration process, improving tone, texture, and overall health from the minute the skin comes in contact with the spicules. How it works in practice. Stimulates the skin's natural healing and renewal mechanisms. Boosts cell turnover, collagen production, and repair within the dermis. Creates a mild, controlled biological response. Regeneration without inflammation or trauma, because we're not cutting the skin. Encourages the skin to renew from within, building stronger, healthier tissue. Treatment intensity varies based on the spicule concentration, technique, and skin type. Okay, that last line there is absolutely key, particularly to any of you who've used other brands of spicules, like I had before starting to work with GlycoAla. Other brands where I had no control over the amount of product I used, or I'd have to open up a second container or whatever the spicules came in, meaning that I just doubled the cost of the treatment. The intensity and treatment intensity varies based on spicule concentration, technique, and skin type. With GlycoAla, I get to decide with each client how the treatment goes, how much product I want to use, how long I want to massage the product in for, the intensity that I want to use with the product. And that gives me full control with my clients, because we are linear practitioners. You know, every client is completely different who presents in front of us, and we need to be able to change and modulate each treatment according to their needs, their goals, etc. And that's exactly the kind of power that GlycoAla gives you. You can customize to suit each client, from a gentle rejuvenation to textural correction to scar treatment, etc. And there's new innovation on the way with GlycoAla as well, that I've already trialed, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So with that to look forward to too. So treatment's indication, really skin, you know, every skin type is suitable, because like that, even for the most sensitive or compromised skin, you can adjust the treatment accordingly. Now, of course, there are contraindications, and we will come to them. So aging, photo damaged skin, fine lines, loss of its elasticity, oily skin, skin prone to acne, enlarged, congested, dehydrated, dull, mild redness, texture irregularities. So really any skin type that needs rejuvenation or needs a boost or needs a reset you know, everybody responds differently, and that's why the most important part of any GlycoAla treatment is the photograph you take before you perform it, so that when the client comes back in 2 weeks later for her next treatment or his next treatment, you can take photos, and that will show your response to one treatment, because of course you're taking the second photo before you do the second treatment. So what to expect post-treatment? So day 1 to 3, early healing phase, mild redness, some puffiness, residual tingling or prickly sensation from the spicules. So the spicules remain in place for the whole day of the first treatment, and I would ask my clients not to just to use the Revive gel and do nothing else to their skin until the next morning, and then to rinse their skin with some water, obviously not hot water. And then once they rinse their skin, most 70 to 80% of the spicules will leave the skin. The rest will just naturally desquamate off over the next 24 to 48 hours. So on the day of the treatment, when they press their skin, they will feel the spicules, and make sure you just chat to the client about that, because once the client expects it, it's not going to be a big deal. Whereas if you don't tell the client or communicate that to the client, they might think that there's something wrong. And when they're lying in bed that night, they won't want to lie in their pillow because they'll feel the spicules when they do, so they'll need to lie on their back. The next day, once they wash their skin, they'll have to press a little harder to feel the spicules or not feel them at all. But on the day of the treatment, even pulling a jumper over their face, they'll feel it. It's not painful at all. It's just a bit odd or a bit weird. So it's really important that you communicate that to the client. So then from day 3 to day 7, notable improvement in texture, which is what my client is experiencing today. She sent me that video of her skin looking absolutely radiant. Increased radiance and firmness, there you go. Fewer visible pores and a refined, smoother surface. Her words to me was, I can't get over how glowy my skin is. And that's the way my skin looks. I even like the little bit of puffiness that comes from day 1 to day 3. What makes Glycoala Bio unique? It's a 4-in-1 treatment. So you do the initial exfoliation and natural desquamation of the cells that we're about to leave anyway. Collagen induction, because it triggers the fibroblasts to make more collagen and elastin in a nice controlled way. We don't want massive onslaught of collagen, which could result in scar tissue. So we want that gentle signaling for more collagen synthesis within the skin. That's why we'd recommend these results are cumulative. That's why we'd recommend a course of 3 to 4 treatments, to do it in blocks 2 to 3 times a year, because you want that gentle signaling for the immune response of collagen production. Increased microcirculation, really, really important, particularly as we age. The blood supply to the skin does massively slow down, and particularly for all of our clients that use skin-specific supplements such as Advanced Nutrition Program, their blood is full of skin nutrients, and we want to increase the microcirculation and give the skin from within that massive boost of oxygen and other really important skin health ingredients such as vitamin A, vitamin C, zinc, etc. Enhanced delivery of actives, and together your skin will be more porous in the immediate hours that follows the treatment, which is why we want our client to use the Glyco Revive gel. And together these actions strengthen and re-educate the skin, improving texture, clarity, firmness, all without heat, trauma or downtime. So little or no risk really with this treatment. Every ingredient in GlycoAla is selected to work in synergy, meaning one enhances the performance of the other. So these are the ingredients that are contained within the biomodulating gel. We have niacinamide in there, an antioxidant and a barrier boosting ingredients. Really, really important for managing the barrier and supporting the skin through the process. We've bakuchiol, the plant-based retinol alternative to boost collagen and improve skin texture without any irritation. We have the Fucus vesicolus, excuse my pronunciation, extract, which is a lot of sea algae in here, which is rich in polysaccharides, calms inflammation and helps to retain moisture. We have the Porphyria umbilicalis extract, the red algae, providing UV protection and antioxidant. Of course, we will want our clients to use an SPF, really important after the treatment. We have the Acephalum nodosum extract, kelp, remineralize and hydrates, improve elasticity and skin tone. We have the Rosa caneus seed extract, rosehip, restores radiance, clarity, supports the skin barrier and pigmentation balance, which is why this treatment is so good for pigmentation. Laminuria digitalum there you go. Strengthens the skin structure, rich in trace elements and vitamins for firmness. Magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, which is our stable form of vitamin C derivative, brightens, promotes collagen synthesis. And glutathione, gentle PHA polyhydroxy acid exfoliant, smooths texture while hydrating, reinforcing the skin barrier. And then arbutin, brightening agent, inhibits tyrosinase to reduce hyperpigmentation and even out the skin tone. And then with the spirulina maxima extract, another algae in here rich in amino acids, for collagen 2, oxidates, detoxifies, revitalizes dull skin. So this is a step-by-step to the treatment protocol, and by all means screenshot this screen, but you do have my video on YouTube as well of me doing the treatment. So cleanse the skin thoroughly. If the client is wearing a lot of makeup, etc., I will do a pre-cleanse and maybe a clay mask as well, and then I'll do a cleanse. Then I dispense anywhere from 2, I never really go 5, 2 to 3 mostly pumps of GlycoAla. Maybe if it's their second or third treatment and their skin is responding beautifully, I might go a little bit more. Onto the back of your hand, apply evenly across the treatment area, and then very slowly and controlled circular motions work the product in for 5 to 8 minutes. I would always set a timer on my watch the minute I start, so I can control how long I'm working for. And maintain gentle but deliberate pressure. I will tend to focus around the eye area if that's an area of concern, or above the lip. Be mindful not to stimulate too much, particularly if they're prone to cold sores. Monitor the client's comfort response throughout. So before I get to leave the GlycoAla, listen to the skin and ask your client a question. If I always ask my client to rate activity on their skin from 1 to 10. If 10 is fire and 1 is they feel absolutely nothing, where are we at? And if a client says 7 or above, that would be what I'd consider an end point, and I'd be looking to finish up the spicule end of the treatment. And then we're going to leave the product on the skin for 10 minutes, and then we're going to apply the Revive Gel. And the Revive Gel, we store ours in the fridge in the clinic, and it's absolutely divine going on cold. I tell my client that they can pop it in the fridge when they go home. You do not wash this off or remove it. Leave it on the skin. And then sometimes I'll use a fan, and when it hits the cold gel, it feels absolutely beautiful. My clients, and me included, fall asleep for this treatment. You should know this is an incredibly relaxing treatment. I had a clinic owner reach out to me last night, and she told me she was looking at a brand of spicules and that it was so incredibly painful, like that the client having it done was, her legs were kind of bent up and she was nearly doing a dance. I was like, oh my God, I fall asleep during ours. It's such a beautiful, relaxing treatment. As you gain experience with the product, let your expertise and your intuition guide you and adjust the amount of product and massage duration, the intensity, depending on the client's tolerance and skin condition. GlycoAla gives you full control. Each session can be as relaxing or as corrective as desired. Always tune into your client's feedback. Your hands and your experience will personalize every treatment to you. And then the wonderful thing about GlycoAla is if they have a little pigment mark on their chest or they have a little scar on their hand, you can use more product and treat it. Again, unlike other brands, you don't have to go and open up a whole second treatment, which I think is just fantastic. Aftercare and recovery. So after 10 minutes, we apply the Revive directly over the GlycoAla. We do not take off the GlycoAla. Screenshot that as well if you wish. I'll just bring on some more. So yeah, you can go ahead and screenshot this page. Do not remove the bio layer. Simply massage. I use lovely fan brushes. Now, I will be honest, I had this treatment done with my colleague and she used the fan brushes and I was like, oh my God, they feel amazing. The fan brushes, there's no weight in them. So if you go back to when I said you can feel the spicules on the skin, so you don't want anything that's going to press in the skin with the Revive Gel. So she used the fan brushes. It was heaven. So now Corinna uses the fan brushes as well. We got them on Amazon and you'll see that in that YouTube video. Use Revive Gel exclusively for 5 days post-treatment. I usually go 2 to 3 days post-treatment, and then I get them to use the Revive Gel. If all sensitivity has left the skin and their skin has returned to normal, I'll get them to use Revive Gel underneath their current skin. For me, will probably be ABST or Youth Essential from Environ. I don't allow my clients to use any acids like Revival Mask or Dermalac lotion until the course is finished. Now, if she's an acne client, I might let her go back to Dermalac and body oil after 3 to 4 days. But I don't let them use the body duo I ask them to touch base with me before incorporating, because always remember, oil will lock heat into the skin, and there will be an element of heat generated from this treatment. So if they were to put in oil, it would stop the skin naturally cooling down. So just be mindful of that. But they're not going to be using it for 2 days anyway, because they're going to be exclusively using the beautiful Revive gel and preferably from the fridge as well. If SPF is required on the day, as in the time of day, you could be doing it at night time, like, and they're going home to bed. But I like to use a mineral SPF. Clients can resume their regular skincare routine once all sensitivity subsides. What I would say to you is, I think we live in an era now when a client can send you a DM on Instagram, etc. And for yourself, I learned so much from feedback from my clients in the immediate days afterwards. And until you become more experienced with this treatment, it's good to touch base the next day or that evening, 3 days time, every 3 days until you see them again. You'll learn so much. Honestly, it's well worth it. Just a photograph even, or a little update. Treatment courses and maintenance. So 3 to 4 treatments spaced 2 weeks apart. After completing a block, allow the skin to reset before introducing other treatments such as facials or barrier focused therapy. So I'd usually give it 2 or 3 weeks. And then most clients repeat GlycoAla 1 to 2 to 3 times a year, depending on their goals. I do have clients that come in and they just want a GlycoAla because they have an event coming up in a week or two and they know their skin will be glorious. And I'll give you an example. I had a client in today. She's getting married in December, or yesterday, I beg your pardon. And we did her second GlycoAla. So we booked her third, and then we were deciding, sorry, this client is going to Vegas on the Saturday. Okay. So I would like to do another glyco on the Wednesday. She flies out to Vegas the Saturday in 2 weeks' time. So I said to her, Karen, I want you to look at your skin on Saturday because that's the day that you're flying to Vegas, 3 days post glyco. And if you look and say, wow, my skin looks amazing, and that's what you like for Vegas, well, then we will do your third or your second GlycoAla on the Wednesday before you go. So she said, perfect. And I'll also reach out to you. And I said, ideal. So she's going to send me a photograph of her skin on Wednesday. And together we will decide if we'll do the second glyco on the Wednesday before she flies out to Vegas. Maintenance. One-off or seasonal treatments can be performed at the therapist and the client's discretion, maintaining long-term skin health. Now, back we go. We cannot skip over this. This is the piece de resistance. This is the GlycoAla Revive Moisturizing, Soothing, Calming and Repairing Gel. This retails at €69.50, but we give it complimentary as part of every GlycoAla biomodulating treatment, which I think is just amazing for the client to get this. And also, it really gets your client into a habit of using a serum as well if they're not already doing that, which is a really good habit to be in, let's face it. And in its own right, as we will dive into here, it's a stunning product and really helps with collagen synthesis as well as barrier support, etc. I would use this after any kind of procedure. If a client had a wound or an injury or a surgery, etc., this is a beautiful product, or even for inflamed skins, etc. This is a beautiful product to lean on. So the purpose is designed to calm, hydrate, and repair and support the skin following professional treatments. It provides instant soothing, cooling sensation, helping to reduce heat, redness, swelling, and swelling post procedure. So, and that's why if you apply it cool from the fridge, it will act like a magnet and it will pull any heat generated out of the skin. Key benefits: supports the skin's natural healing response while maintaining hydration and barrier protection. And you can use it yourself even as a face mask. It'll feel beautiful going on from the fridge. You could use it for if you're gua sha, if you're using your cryo globes. Feature and skin benefits: rapidly soothing and cooling. It really does feel beautiful. Far nicer than any face mask I've ever experienced with other brands of spicule, which can be quite creamy and tacky. This just feels so gorgeous. So you need to experience it yourself. Hydration boost, barrier repair, anti-inflammatory support. Formulation for dry, dehydrated skin, inflamed or irritated skin, post-exfoliation or post-procedure sensitivity, minor flaking, tingling, or pinpoint bleeding. Weakened or damaged skin repair. So the key ingredients, so we've lots of barrier boosting ingredients such as hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, aloe vera in here. Together, these ingredients reinforce the skin's barrier, reduce redness and heat, and restore hydration and comfort support. So the last ingredient there's Centella asiatica. Oh God, I must actually learn how to pronounce that. Enhances collagen synthesis and accelerates recovery. So that's supporting that collagen synthesis that is triggered from the actual treatment. So GlycoAla expectations. Initial cellular activation: within 3 seconds, the sponge speculum penetrates the stratum corneum. Within 5 seconds, the basal cells are activated, and within 7 days, new skin cells are formed. Inflammatory phase, 0 to 48 hours, redness, dryness, itching, mild swelling, and sensitivity may occur. And that's when they feel the spicules in their skin. Then the proliferation phase, skin may feel tight, tight actually is a good word. Itchy, and as redness subsides and exfoliation begin, your client might get a peel. She may not get a peel. I always say don't be disappointed if you don't. Me personally, I never peel. I find my Environ clients don't peel as much, but I find if a client is not maybe on a skin health journey or using other brands, you know what I mean, this kind of like ad hoc clients, I find they do get a peel. Microneedle activity, spicules remain active for 72 hours before naturally shedding through desquamation. Mild prickling sensation may occur when the skin is touched, rubbed. You know what's not nice? Pulling a jumper over the head is not nice. If you could, maybe beforehand, brief your client and tell them to wear a hoodie. I had a client and she had a scarf on, and I had to tell her not to wear the scarf leaving me, because even from contamination point of view, but wool as well can be just so irritating. Microchannels begin closing within 15 minutes, 60% closure in 24 hours, full closure achieved within 72 hours. Skin renewal process continues for 7 days post-treatment. Temporary sensation, tightness, dry and tingling are part of the natural regeneration. Skin progressively becomes smoother, brighter, more refined as healing completes. So here's some incredible before and afters from GlycoAla's clinical case studies. We have consistency. As you can see, these are after 3 sessions. It's really important that you appreciate the cumulative nature of this treatment. For optimum results, it's important they do a course. And look at that beautiful lifting off of pigmentation and brightening there after 3 sessions. Look at the melasma. Again, we love this for melasma because there's no heat triggered, no thermal energy. So these are this one here on the left, before and after 3 sessions, is from one of our own stockists of GlycoAla. And then I wanted to bring this in as well. This is a skin therapist. Many of you may be familiar with her. Her name is Joanna Sheck. She's a Polish lady and has clinics in Dallas and New York. And she's a huge amount of celebrity clients, and she works with GlycoAla. This is her skin after 3 sessions. You would often see, like around the time of the Oscars, she'll do a pop-up. She has Kim Kardashian, all the Kardashians are clients of hers, many A-list Hollywood stars. So watch this space. I do expect to see these A-list stars having GlycoAla themselves in the coming months and weeks and months. So it is device-free, hands-on procedure, natural, non-invasive, non-thermal, minimally discomfort. Oh God, I fall asleep. It's definitely minimally discomfort. It's certainly not a pain. It might be a kind of a maybe a little bit uncomfortable or scratchy, but it's not painful. Not like microneedling. Works with skin's biology, not against it. Delivers long-lasting results with fewer sessions. Time efficient, suitable for all skin types, face and body. Safe, no breakage or barrier trauma. Exceptional return on investment for clinics. Just before we go into the contraindications, I know in the UK, and many of you are tuning in, we've had a huge uptake from clinics in the UK because you guys are very restricted with regards to topical anesthetic. And you obviously do not need any kind of topical anesthetic with this product. And I'll tell you also, me personally, I was a big CST fan. When I say I loved CST Results, which was a pretty invasive 1mm microneedling treatment that was quite painful and you required topical anesthetic. I loved Results. I didn't love having it done, but I would never have any other type of microneedling now, only GlycoAla biomicroneedling, simply because it's an absolute joy to have done. There's no downtime, and I don't particularly like downtime. Like, even if I get a cold sore, I swear I get depressed. No downtime, and my skin is beautiful and radiant, and the results are like off the charts. So contraindications, warning and precautions. And also I just want to highlight here, if you have a client in, for any reason, having her nails done or having a facial or just popping in to buy a product or a voucher, and you decide that she's going to have this treatment, you can of course take a small amount of product out and do a little patch test if you wish, or if you have any concerns, and that might leave you both a little bit more comfortable. Again, one of the joys of this treatment, you don't have to go and open up a whole vial that's going to cost you nearly 100 quid just to do a patch test. You can just go do a little pump of this and do it on her inner arm or even on her face if she's no makeup on. And yeah, we all like to psychodermatology is a very real thing. Our thoughts also reflect on our skin. Never treat if any contraindication is present. Avoid clients with skin cancers, precancerous lesions, bleeding disorders, not suitable. If I had a client under medical care, I just ask her to run it by her prescribing medic. Not suitable for clients with keloid or hypertrophic scarring. Avoid clients on anticoagulants or with vascular heart issues, and do not treat a pregnant or lactating client. Now, that's not because there's any danger to the embryo or anything. That's just because there's so many more hormones and sensitivity. And you could have a client who's never had rosacea in her life. She's pregnant and suddenly has rosacea. And, maybe if she was pregnant, she might think that this treatment triggered the rosacea, but it was actually the pregnancy. Look, when you're pregnant, you think you're pregnant forever, but you're not. You're only pregnant for such a short time. Honestly, I don't see the issue with breastfeeding. You can decide that yourself, but it says here contraindicated. Avoid clients with lupus, photosensitive disorders, or ingredient allergies. Without doubt, I'd be patch testing them. Do not treat if using photosensitizing medication. Avoid highly reactive or recently resurfaced skin. Postpone a client who's had any laser, dermabrasion, cosmetic surgeries, not suitable for facial radiation, cortisone, autoimmune conditions. These are all very general, what we will be considered contraindication for nearly all treatments, even waxing. Pre-treatment and timing. Avoid treatment if using acne medication. I would always ask them to run it by their prescribing doctor, whoever prescribes the antibiotics or Roaccutane. You know, you don't even have to answer that question because that's pressure for us as practitioners. We're not the medics. Simply say, you ask the prescribing doctor, and whatever they say, we will do, and preferably get it in writing. Avoid antibiotic steroids within 4 weeks. Again, these can be light sensitizing. Avoid systematic retinoids within 6 months. That's again Roaccutane. Postpone. Oh, sorry, ladies and gents. Postpone if, oh God, herpes, absolutely. And avoid the area if they're prone to them and if they've found previously that microneedling is triggered. And then you could always say, my client actually is getting married in December, was telling me she's so worried. I also told her to speak to her GP about antiviral meds if she is worried, because sometimes you can actually manifest a cold sore as well. For 24 to 72 hours post-treatment, avoid acids, alcohol, essential oils, or retinoids. That'd be like not Roaccutane, like tretinoin, etc. Stop exfoliants, glycolic acid, benzoyl peroxide. Again, these would be all pretty standard. So pricing, this is probably the best part about the Glycoala Biomodulation Gel, and I would never have brought this to market if I didn't think it was incredible opportunity for my fellow stockists and clinic owners. Previously, when I'd worked with other brands, it just was not financially viable for us to continue to work with it. I think we'd spent in a couple of months 30 grand buying in spicule products, and it was just not viable. I got brilliant business advice at a Chamber of Commerce dinner one Christmas about 15 years ago. I just happened to sit beside an incredible businessman, and it was around Christmas time, and he asked me, was I busy? And I was like, oh my God, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. You know yourself, Christmas time, we're all so busy. And he said, that's great to hear, Corinna. I just hope you're not a busy fool. And he got up and went to the bar. And honestly, I was not right for the night. And I don't think I've ever been right since. Because everything I do now, I ask myself, am I a busy fool? The truth is, I was a busy fool that Christmas. So every business decision I make since, I think to myself, am I going to be a busy fool? And there's no point in you working with a spicule treatment and doing all that work if the only people actually making revenue are your spicule provider. You have to make it viable for you and for your clinic. And that is the case with GlycoAla. Other information, email us. Oh, yes. This, I want you to screenshot this. Yes, there's a lot of information here. I will read it out, of course, but this is a page for you guys to screenshot, because this is where you get us. This is how you reach out to us, even if it's just to have a chat, even if it's just to see if this is potentially for you and for your clinic. Go ahead and email partners@monicatolan.com. You will reach out to Kira, my colleague, who heads up the professional portal at Monica Tolan's. Now, I want you to join our WhatsApp group as well. Kira will give you a link for that. Obviously, a screenshot, you're not going to be able to take that link, but we will do that, or you can send me a DM and I will arrange it. If you are a stockist of GlycoAla and you're working with the product, I want you to have access to me and to the rest of us at any time of the day or night, because that's the level of support us therapists need. Then to get your certificate, which you will need for your insurance, you will, once you've carried out our training, once you've watched our visuals, and then you can just send videos of yourself carrying out the treatment to Kira, and then we will certify you. You, of course, if you have any questions, you know where we are, but that's an important slide for you to screenshot. And then there's some frequently asked questions. What is the best format for treatment? For example, cleanse, GlycoAla. Yeah, so cleanse the skin, GlycoAla for anywhere. I've never done 10 minutes, but that's not to say you might. I wouldn't do it on a client's first time. Carry out your spicules, wait 10 minutes, and then apply your revive. This treatment can be done and dusted in 25 minutes. So it's fine if a client gets caught up in traffic and she's a little late getting to you. And can I incorporate Dermalux? You can, of course, sometimes. Well, I would never do it on a client's first treatment because if anything, adverse response occurs, which is absolutely fine. These things happen. We work with humans, not with machines. But you're going to be hard. It's going to be hard to pinpoint it if you've done multiple modalities. So I would say after you know that everything's fine, then you've done a few treatments, your client's skin is loving it, everything is perfect. Well, then I'd probably do some Dermalux. It's a really good idea to do your Dermalux before the treatment because it massively ignites the mitochondria in the cell and prepares the skin for responding to the treatment. I almost say it's like having a pre-workout before you go to the gym. And then also after treatment then helps to reduce excessive inflammation without disrupting the controlled injury, certainly in anti-inflammatory settings such as near infrared. And this keeps the skin in optimal healing phase, less redness, less downtime, and a higher quality of collagen deposits. So yeah, you can figure that out yourself, which one, depending on which device you can, but it's certainly not something you cannot do or you need to eliminate. But like I said, I wouldn't do it on the first treatment. Wonderful. So we are on our any questions slide. So you can pop your mics on if you do have any questions. You're welcome to type it in too. I hope you enjoyed that training. I hope I didn't speak too fast.
No, timing's good.
Hi, Corinna. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Thanks, it's Norma.
Hi, Norma.
I've already trained in biomicroneedling. So just to clarify, we're not removing any of the spicules after the treatment before we put on the gel.
Yes, that is correct.
And it's 5 days before we introduce active ingredients again into their skincare.
I usually give my clients 2 days. Particularly my clients who've had the treatment done multiple times. So I would say to you initially, maybe when you start working with it, you could say 5 days, but use your own, how well you know your client, how well you know your client's skin, etc. If I'm honest with you, when I have the treatment done, nothing, Norma, stops me from using my AVST, Youth Essentia 4 Plus, Defense Plus, and my retinol, and I will use mine on the night of having the treatment.
Okay, yeah, great.
So I suggest that probably you do too. Certainly not on your first time. I can't remember the first time I had this treatment. That was probably over a year ago. But play around with that. But yeah, I don't keep my clients off their ABST unless it's absolutely necessary. So I definitely give them 24 or 48 hours. But yeah.
I know with my other training, they would have advised as well to leave SPF off for a few days just because the microchannels were still open for maybe 72 hours. Would you still recommend that?
Yeah, particularly if it's still, I don't wear SPF unless I need to either, but I would recommend a mineral SPF like Rad Shield or a mineral SPF. Even the Clinic Care one is gorgeous as well. I can't think what they call it, but it's tinted, or the Ultraceuticals mineral SPF as well. But certainly on the day, like I've been known to turn around, open my blind and look out and decide if they need SPF or not. But on the day, most likely I wouldn't use it, particularly winter time. And also I ask my clients to wear a hat, etc. as well, and to employ good behavior in the sun.
Yeah.
But any other time, I just use a mineral SPF.
Like you said, a scarf and things can really irritate it. The final question, digital assets. Will we be getting anything that we can use in our social media, or
yeah, absolutely, and we would love you to. Obviously, it'd be great. There's no expectation from us, but we'd really appreciate it for brand awareness, and we'll give you some images to drop on. I know I was practically bullied by other brands for me to use it, so I'd never put any of my stockists in that position. But if you're happy to, we'd be happy to share them with you in the information pack. So there's a couple of different things coming your way. One is an information pack that we usually send out to people who are curious, and all the what did you call them again?
The
marketing assets, the assets, sorry, are in the information pack. But if you join my WhatsApp group, I'll drop them in there as well, that you can put over an image, etc. But anything you need.
Yeah, I've joined that. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, great stuff. Thank
you. Great. And will we get consultation forms?
Oh, yes, I have them here, and they're in that. This is them here. I don't know if you can see them on the screen. They're in that information pack for you to print off.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Great questions, honey. I appreciate that. Thank you.
More questions here.
Yeah. Do you have to wait 24 hours before washing the skin? Certainly don't wash the skin. I get my clients to wash the skin the next morning, if they're in the shower, etc. But not on the day of the treatment. And look, if they have the treatment even at 6 o'clock on a Monday evening, they'll still wash their skin the Tuesday morning. I like the spicules to be removed the next day. but not on the day. Unless they are very, very sensitive and they're quite uncomfortable, etc., then I'd have them take the spicules off straight away. And you know the way you wait the 10-minute interval? This has never happened to me, by the way, but I want you to know because the power is in your hand. Let's say you do the spicules, you've massaged in men for 3 to 6 minutes, and for whatever reason, your client could be saying, I'm number 10, I'm very red. You know, clients can be menopausal, all those things. Feel free to take the spicules off and get the revive on her treatment. In that case, I would take the spicules off. And obviously, I do detailed notes. I use ChatGPT for all my client notes. So it's all very detailed. How many minutes, how many pumps, how it went, what number she rated is all put in the notes. And I take that information and that fuels my second treatment 2 weeks later. But just so you know, you can take the spicules off straight away on the day of treatment if you feel this treatment is just triggering way more heat or inflammation than you'd like. Oh, what did we say regarding a mask after? I know you said leave lead first. Yeah, so I want you to take this idea in your head that you have to use a mask after the treatment. If that's, you're using the Revive gel and you're applying that quite thick, that's all you need to use. And in theory, it's kind of a mask because you're putting on a thick layer and leaving it on just like a mask. But there's nothing better than that. That is all you need post-treatment. What is the best type of cleanser to use for the 3 to 5 days post-treatment? Well, not the 3 to 5. Like they can do whatever they want. But the first treatment, the first cleanse the next morning, I like it to be a wash. And I prefer there was no AHAs in the wash. I like it low foaming cleansing gel or the balancing cleanser from Ultraceuticals but no AHA. I wouldn't be using Sebu wash like the next day. And then after that, they can use their cream cleanser that evening if they wish. But again, I did say I'd be avoiding acids. So, none of those toners like, the ordinary toners I see even my kids using, all the toners that destroy skin barriers for the whole duration of their course. I would ask them to refrain from using them. Yeah, is there any more there, honey? No, that's it. Anyone, any questions here?
Sorry, I missed the beginning. Can we
Yeah.
treat rosacea, Corinna, with this?
Well, rosacea is a huge umbrella term. So I would never, if a client asked me that, I'd always ask to see their skin, and then I'll decide. Like my sister has rosacea and she's had this treatment done many times and she loves this treatment. So if the skin is very inflamed, red, I wouldn't do the treatment on that day, but I wouldn't consider rosacea to be a contraindication, again, because it is an umbrella term and everyone's sensitivities can differ a lot, and in actual fact they can get great results as well. So use your own experience in that regard. I hope that's
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions for me? I hope you're all excited. It really is the most amazing treatment. Like I just absolutely loved performing the treatment. I love the results. I love the feedback. Like I got a lovely message. I put it to my stories. So first of all, this lady yesterday, when she got on my couch, she was like, oh my God, I was so excited the whole way here. And this was for her second Glycoala. So even that, because I don't like hurting my clients, I don't like them to be uncomfortable. I want them to look forward to come see me. But we all know sometimes to get really great results, they say pain is beauty. Sometimes treatments can be uncomfortable. So I just love that this treatment, that's how she felt. Then, she couldn't wait. She got into the bed and she was so relaxed. And she said to me, this is the best treatment I've ever had by a mile that she's ever had done. And that was after her first. And then she sent me another message last night. I'm heading to bed now. Already the redness has subsided. It really is an incredible treatment. I just love it. Having suffered with so many skin issues over the years and previously having had other microneedling, I really wish I'd found this treatment years ago. At 37, after 2 treatments, my skin looks the best it has ever, especially in terms of clearness and complexion. I can't get over what little downtime there is too. I just love going to you for facials. Your hands down. I'm going to keep reading. I'm not. It gets a little bit more personal. But that girl reached out to me, was a good client of mine, and then I hadn't seen her in about a year. And then she came back in and she's getting married at Christmas, and we're practically Christmas. And you guys know, because how it feels when a bride says to you, I'm getting married in 6 or 8 weeks. You're like, okay, nice one. Thank you for putting all that pressure on me to perform miracles in such a small time period. She'd been through a huge amount. Before I'd seen her, I knew her brother had cancer and was dying, and he's since passed away. She lost her mom only a few weeks later, and then had a baby only a few weeks later herself. So I just really wanted to help her, and I straight away did a Glycoala, and it completely brought her skin back to what it had been before any of these traumas occurred in her life. And then I just know she's going to be absolutely radiant for her wedding, and it's just like such a gift. I just feel like so empowered and so blessed to have a treatment like this at my disposal, that I can provide these kind of changes to my skin, and also to give you therapists this kind of power in your treatment room as well, and that you have the opportunity to really get a great return on investment from it as well. But the best return on investment that you're going to get is the feedback from your clients. It's going to really set you apart. It's super, and I can't wait for you to have it done as well. You're going to love it if you haven't had it done already.
We have 2 more questions.
2 more questions. Same with acne, red and inflamed. Weight. You know, I like to work on the skin when it's less inflamed. Some of my colleagues have microneedled over acne and got great results. I guess do what feels most comfortable to you. I will say there's an acne Glycoala Biomodulating Gel for atrophic scars, acne scars, in the pipeline, and I'm trialing it at the moment, and I'm getting it is amazing. But I would like to not, acne can be almost redundant but still look like it's inflamed because of erythema, post-inflammatory erythema, and pigmentation, and all of that this treatment will work really, really well on. So once you have the actual pustules under control, then I would go to with this. And the photo that was shared of acne, can we treat you with red? Oh, that's the same thing. What age would be your youngest? I did my daughter, who's 17. Yes, I did my daughter, who's 17, and she got amazing results with it. And yeah, I'd probably go 18. If it's your daughter or son, you could go a little younger. But yeah, she got great results. That it? That everything?
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Corinna. I'm going to run back to treatment. So thank you for all the
Okay,
info.
honey, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's very precious, particularly during working hours. I do appreciate it. And any questions, all you can jump back on, and I'll have this video up soon. I'm going to